push off of. So hopefully if camo is in play, it means that the kill count overall is going to be higher on this recharge.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see how this action goes. I've been taking a look at our bracket. So on the other side, Morley and Coach Cobb are playing. I don't believe we're holding that. So if you guys are interested in that match, you can pull up another tab. Go check out Mason Cobb's stream. And then the elimination bracket is starting to chug along. So hopefully we're going to see some of that. But it looks like GAs are not going to be in place for the camo. Gilkey was quick to grab that camouflage. Uses it to get the first shot. And bubu dubu, well, he's going to have to back down.
Luckily for bubu dubu, he does have the grenades in hands, tosses out the 2 frags, but also has the plasmas, so trying to buy some time. But I tell you what, he's pre-firing at that shock rifle just in case Gilkey with the camo went after that power weapon, which, you know, pretty intuitive to get some early shots on it. But checking every corner, and here comes Gilkey in Whirlpool, has the shock rifle in hand, looking for the shot, lines it up, just misses, and bubu dubu hopefully learned his lesson to not peek that window.
Gilkey's gonna take the ego and will be successful. Bubu dubu will be the first player to fall, and now this is dangerous territory for bubu, because not only does Gilkey have this shock rifle, he also has a grapple to get himself into place. So if he gets bubu weak, you're gonna expect to see a grapple follow-up to try to chase down the weak player.
Oh, that mobility option with the equipment could be huge, and he gets his sights set onto bubu dubu at the low ground there. And bubu dubu, though, he knows the shock rifle's in the hands of Gilkey, and he's not giving him that long range engagement, but Gilkey lines up the shock rifle almost shotgun style, hits the shot, and is up 2-0.
And now a new set of grapples up. He's going to use his 1 grapple to refill his other grapples, using it as a multiplier. It's going to get him up to 5. And well, he has just about everything going right for him in this game. Still plenty of sniper ammo left. 6 bullets to go through. Bubu's going to take the challenge. He's made 1 shot. Here we go. Gilkey takes the ego. Does the nade do enough? Just gets past the sticky, and now new camo, but a missed grapple chain. Is it gonna cost Gilkey?
Well, he gets that kill at the perfect time with just seconds before the grapple spawn, and it does look like that missed grapple. He was trying to pull the camo towards himself in cover. Instead, he pulls himself out to where the camo is, and for a minute there he had to leave his grapples behind, but after feeling like he was safe enough, doubled back, now has all the equipment in hand, fires off 1 round with a shock rifle, holds the same position, using the camo to dodge grenades left and right. But bubu dubu, he hits that plasma grenade. We saw a stick in the last match. We see another epic sticky grenade here.
Well, Gilkey just got a gifted spawn though, already in pipes, and that's important because Gilkey used the last bullet of that shock rifle. You can see it's up for grabs, and while bubu, he's underneath, Gilkey's up high. Who comes out on top? Is the combo gonna hit? Yes, it does. Gilkey stabilizes quickly and gets his reward, a brand new shock rifle to play with.
Yeah, and he might even be able to pick up some grapples off of bubu dubu's dead body if he hadn't used them all, but it looks like they might be spent. Another well-timed kill there from Gilkey to get the shock rifle. He has some damage. He jumps out across, but bubu dubu is going to find that kill with a little, you know, a traditional battle rifle kill.
Bubu played that very fast, was counting on Gilkey not hitting that shot, and that's how both of those kills for bubu dubu have arrived thus far. 1 with his BR, the other with the stickies, and now for the first time we're seeing bubu dubu with this shock rifle. He's hyper efficient with it. Expect to see him hit some shots as he's able to take down a weak Gilkey from the body shock rifle shot.
Now look at the scoreboard right here, Garrett, though. 4-3, which was the end score last time. So I think having camo in play and just, you know, these 2 players are definitely playing a more aggressive game, and you love to see it. More action, more kills coming through, and bubu dubu looking to put another one on, almost mirroring the play that Gilkey pulled off earlier with the shock rifle and the ricochet of the grenade, but he's not getting enough damage. In fact, I'm surprised. Gilkey's almost at full shield, and here comes the engagement. Gilkey is gonna win that one out.
Yeah, great play by Gilkey, right? He jumps up, lifts himself past the reticle of bubu dubu, takes a body shot, but is able to land the head, and that leads to Gilkey getting yet another camouflage, the shock rifle back in his hand, and this time he's gonna have that repulse. So remember last time that he took a challenge and the sticky hit? Well, that repulse is gonna prevent that from being the case, and bubu, he's hiding, but oh, I gotta take a little bit of time there, Gilkey. Line up that shot, but he's able to get the kill nonetheless, doubling the score of Bubu early on.
A nice little 6-3. There's still time for Bubu Dubu to get back in this match, but a 3-kill advantage on recharge is looking really good for Gilkey right now. Along with that shock rifle, uses the repulsor to get the high ground, but he's hearing something. He knows where Bubu Dubu is, and he lines up. There it is. There's the patience to line up the perfect shock rifle kill.
Now, Bubu did use the disruptor. It's gonna keep Gilkey weak for longer. Not gonna really matter too much, but you can see Gilkey just did get his shields back. What that can do is it can provide a short window for Bubu to potentially play a little bit faster, get forward on the map, because Gilkey's not going to be able to be ready on his corners. But here we go, Bubu Dubu, he's skydiving in, but the repulse is there for Gilkey. He goes high, and Gilkey gets another kill, a 5-kill lead now. And you can expect this to keep growing, and this is important for Gilkey, right? Look at how fast he gets back to these pipes. He does not want to give Bubu that spawn because the new shock rifle just came up.
And he held on to that empty shock rifle. Therefore, when he went to the spawn, it just filled the ammo. He did have to pop a reload, but he didn't have to take any time to equip or grab the weapon off the rack. But here's why active camo on this map is so crucial. It's luring Bubu Dubu out of cover to get the camo in play, and Gilkey shuts it down. That's a killing spree for Gilkey. It's 9-3. This would be a very difficult comeback. A tough spot here for Bubu.
And smart play by Gilkey, right? He's checking out. He saw the jump, the little shiver of Bubu, but then was able to validate his eyesight with himself, seeing the camo indicator go away as Gilkey hits another no scope with that shock rifle, just growing this lead. Bubu Dubu probably gonna be throwing in the towel at some point, but after you see that indicator, the camo go away, it just leads to only 3 options, right? He's either gonna go up on the box, he's gonna go back towards A, or he's gonna go back towards triple stacks. He hedged his bets with throwing his nades at the jump up, got him weak, and then was able to finish the kill down in the pit, and that's led to this absolute blowout by Gilkey thus far.
Now remember, this is a best of 3, so even though game 1 might be a blowout, it could be a change of storyline as we head into Aquarius, and then hopefully we'll see a game 3 on live fire. But as far as the control of recharge is concerned, Gilkey seems to be playing with all the cards in his hands. He's using that grapple to rotate back away, create more space, and all the pressure here is on Bubu Dubu to push these fights.
Yeah, Bubu's gonna take the challenge towards C plat, but Gilkey might have hit the perfect rotation. Bubu trying to get close. Gilkey gets himself high, but not high enough. Bubu Dubu finishes that fight, and now 4 minutes to make a massive comeback, but he does have 1 bullet in the shock rifle to get himself started.
He's gonna rotate around now to Attic using that high ground. Also 3 repulsors to work with, maybe to deflect some damage or to reposition quickly. Gets a little bit of damage with a shock rifle and then follows up, but you see his health continuing to tick down. That's a disruptor from the hands of Gilkey. It's not gonna be enough to take down Bubu Dubu, but it is gonna take longer for that shield to recharge, and look how much time it took. Now Bubu Dubu has the needler in hand, finds Gilkey off the respawn, has the camo for a little extra protection, but Gilkey is somehow milking his life right here, being very difficult to take down.
Bubu Dubu starting to get kills in rapid succession, making this a closer game, but still a mountain to climb. Got to use as much of that camo as possible. He knows Gilkey's sitting at the back of A. He's going to be able to get a tag on the body, but can he get the finish? Gilkey can't get to the doorway. Now, just a 4-kill deficit for Bubu Dubu to make up.
I mean, we talk about comeback potential, and you know, Bubu Dubu riding with G1 at the end of season 1 has that ability to come back from behind. We saw it time and time again, and a lot of it was due to this player on your screen right now. He never counts himself out. He's fighting to the very final moments of the game. So right now, cutting that lead to 4 looks like an opportunity. Goes in for the melee, ends up with a trade.
Yeah, that's a win for Gilkey at the end of the day. Those trades work in his favor. Now, who gets the better spawn? Gilkey has the first shot at getting towards that shock rifle, but Bubu Dubu quickly puts his BR out on range. And Bubu Dubu being awfully aggressive towards this shock rifle. He has to. He's running out of time. He's able to get there. Now Gilkey, he's still on the run. Gilkey has to get away, but Bubu Dubu, he smells the blood in the water. And Gilkey goes down, a 3-kill deficit with just over 2 minutes for Bubu Dubu to overcome this comeback.
Now, I loved Gilkey using those plasma grenades as almost a stall or defense, but somehow Bubu Dubu just went through a minefield of grenades, took very minimal damage, but the same is not going to be true here. In fact, that frag grenade perfectly finds him mid-grapple, takes him down, and now here's that camo grapple we were looking for earlier. Gilkey secures it easily. 4-point lead in less than 2 minutes to go. This is getting a pretty desperate, I think, for Bubu.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate for Bubu, right? You have the right idea with the grapple rotation, get out of there fast. The problem is Gilkey expected that, threw a nade past Trippy Box and kept it high. And what that did was, as Bubu was reaching elevation with that grapple, it ended up being a perfect place nade by Gilkey. And now Gilkey just 1 kill away. And with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this game, you have to figure Bubu Dubu's opportunity is gone. Finish it with a nice shot, and we'll be moving on to game 2 on Aquarius.
You gotta love a game of recharge 1v1, going to kills instead of to time. So credit to Gilkey for keeping the pedal to the metal throughout this game number 1 of the series. A nice 15-9 victory. Control of power-ups really was the play here yet again. Shock rifle plays, grapple and repulsor plays, and a lot of use of that active camo.
Aquarius going to be an interesting one. You know, utility once again important, not thrust. In those 1v1 fights, if you have a thrust your opponent does, more often than not you're going to be winning those fights. And I imagine if we saw camo on that map, we're going to see camo once again. Should not be seeing a heat wave on the map, and maybe shock nades are going to get GA'd. It's usually like a 50-50 with some of these pro players, but I'd imagine that we see thrust and camo on our next map. And well, Gilkey was able to control the utility and the power weapons way more efficiently than Bubu, but we saw a good run by Bubu in the middle of that game.
Yeah, it was a nice run. It made it exciting right there in the mid games. Did see that killing spree, actually ended up with a trade there, but Bubu Dubu had that run. Now hopefully in this game number 2 he doesn't start out in that point deficit and can keep the game close throughout, or maybe even take an early lead. I'm just looking forward to seeing a game 3. Now that might have been my favorite play of the game though. Maybe a little bit less flashy, but Gilkey with the shock rifle and then just a perfect ricochet of that frag. I just liked it. It looked clean.
Yeah, and it shows you how important that noob combo can be in some of these fights, right? I was able to get him 1 shot with the noob combo. This is another important fight. I think that's really what cemented the win for Gilkey right there, was after he's able to get that kill, he gets the next camo, and from there he starts racking up the lead. Bubu Dubu wouldn't get another kill until Gilkey hit 11.
Oh yeah, that was a huge run of kills there for Gilkey, and a lot of it was with the shock rifle and a lot of it was with the camo. So hopefully here as we head to Aquarius in game number 2, we expect to see the camo still in play. You had mentioned the heat wave is probably on the GA list, and maybe a little bit unsure about the dynamos as well, but I think that the early attention is going to be not just for camo but that top mid control, because if you hold top mid you can spawn trap the player off of that win.
The other important thing is there's a gun that spawns in both the bases that had a recent buff. That commando rifle can be so powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some crazy kills with that weapon, but you see both the players valuing the thrust right away, and they're going to be having another fight, thrust on thrust. Who gets the first shot off? Gilkey wins it. He had the commando rifle out, then switched to the BR just in time.
And that's the commando in action since that buff. Gilkey puts it to work, and a thruster makes for some fast-paced plays, but he's finding the spawn. He sees Bubu Dubu, and it looks like both players are avoiding the dynamos, at least for the time being. Gilkey does pick them up, however, so we'll see if he tosses them out. He switches right over to them and still holding that top mid control with what's left of the camo.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to decide to play with shock nades, the way that Gilkey enabled those right away. I could use them to find Bubu Dubu's hiding spots. It's basically gonna push Bubu out of that util for sure, and he's gonna take the route on the other exits. Bubu gets his shields back, has the pistol. It's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. You know, Bubu wants to get down towards that thrust, but Gilkey's gatekeeping it for now.
Yeah, the one hard thing there for Gilkey is he only had 9 bullets left in the commando. I think he still has 1 bullet remaining, but he was very aware of the ammo situation. He fired off a few quick rounds of that commando and then quickly, with no hesitation, switched back over to the BR. The big part of why he's alive right now, but he doesn't have any nades to work with, and now he's been forced to give up that high ground position. Doubles back, reloads the weapon, back with the commando, putting it to work.
Is that a oh no, it's a G2 skin. It's a G2 sticker on his
yeah, on the
blue.
commando.
Yeah, I was like, dude, can you get stickers like
why
that?
is it blue?
Yeah, it's a cool skin.
It's cool though.
Yeah, I like it. We see Bubu Dubu is going to be able to find his first kill, and that's going to lead to a camouflage for Bubu Dubu. We'll see if he activates this right away. He will, so he has until the clock hits 9:20 until that camo goes out. We'll see how much action he can put on the board until then.
Does toss out the 2 dynamo grenades, gets a little bit of information, knows Gilkey is here, and then rushes in to find him, but somehow Gilkey does enough damage that the melee ends up as a trade, and that has to be a win for Gilkey because he took out the camo, he took out the dynamos, any advantage that Bubu Dubu had. He lost now, and now off the respawns, Gilkey finds the thruster, Bubu Dubu picks up a grenade, and Gilkey, what a win with that thruster play.
What a play by Gilkey, right? Just executing on every level. Bubu Dubu hit the pre-nade, but Gilkey was ready to rumble right away, was able to instantly get in the face of Bubu Dubu and then executed on every shot. Really no margin of error for Gilkey there, but perfect execution leads to another kill, and now doubling the lead over Bubu Dubu.
That double lead is very familiar to what we saw in game number 1, but it hasn't run away just yet. A little bit of time left for Bubu Dubu. He has to dodge out of the way of that dynamo, but he might miss one. He finds a second, and Gilkey is relentless with just a barrage of grenades being thrown at Bubu Dubu, forces him off of that high ground. And Bubu Dubu is aware of this rotation from Gilkey. He's going to catch sight of him there, and maybe took a little inspiration. Going to use the commando himself.
Well, Bubu Dubu did have the advantage until Gilkey spotted him at the last moment. And Bubu goes for the challenge while one shot, and that's going to come at a massive cost. Not only is he going to see the respawn screen, but the camo coming up relatively soon. And this is what I love from Gilkey, right? Make sure that there are no thrusts for Bubu Dubu to pick up. I think that's even more important than the camouflage in this game.
Cool. He certainly thought it was. He kind of took a 50-50 chance on which side of the map Bubu Dubu was going to respawn at. You saw him checking yellow side there. He was wrong, but he doubles back to mid in time to grab the camo and has those 4 thrusters to work with. He uses everything in the kit, but I think the commando was really the star of the show in that combat.
Yeah, now he's going to earn himself the other thrust, and this is what's so important, right? Is now they're staggered, right? So when one thrust is up, you know, the other one's about halfway through, and that's going to allow him to really manipulate the spawns on another level. Now he can make sure Bubu Dubu is spawning on the side where thrust is not becoming available, and by the time he gets this kill on Bubu Dubu, well, guess what? The yellow thrust should be up by then. He can just go start cycling over towards blue, and it's a deadly cycle to be put in.
Yeah, he's grabbing thruster, and then he's grabbing some ammo for his commando at the same time, just kind of refreshing all of the equipment, and he's going to rotate down. He's denying that thruster, but because he already was at the max 5, I think he only picked up 1 of the 3, or he was a little bit low, so he uses 1 quickly to keep them out of Bubu Dubu's hands. And now the commando, only 16 bullets left. That might be the only hope for Bubu Dubu.
Bubu still got a yellow spawn. I don't think Gilkey expected this. Bubu Dubu's gonna have the jump on Gilkey, gonna push him away, and this is what's important, is Bubu Dubu doesn't necessarily need to get this kill. He just needs to keep Gilkey on yellow side until the blue thrust comes up.
Yeah.
Bubu Dubu goes for the challenge anyway. He's gonna be able to get that kill. He needs to block the blue side so he can get himself a new thruster, or try to track back towards yellow to grab Gilkey's used thruster. Gilkey's gonna go straight for that thrust. He knows what's important. He's able to grab it, but he did take some damage from the shock nades to get there. He's trying to get away. Bubu's been made 1 shot, and now Bubu, he finds himself on a dangerous edge, right? He's gonna be able to get this camouflage, but Gilkey has a thrust to get him outside of these engagements.
Oh, that That was a beautiful use of the thrust to jump across, and Gilkey is not letting Bubu escape with that camo, forces him to the low ground. Bubu Dubu is still trying to re-engage in this fight, hoping that the camo will give him enough of an advantage, but this is really a play. Thrusters versus camo, and so far through the game, Gilkey's prioritization of the thrusters has paid off.
Yeah, look, Gilkey, Bubu didn't notice it, but the yellow thrust was up. He could have gotten him with his camouflage. Instead, he doesn't go for it, but a missed shot by Gilkey is going to cost him dearly. Not only does he lose that gunfight, he's also going to lose his newly picked up thrusters. Bubu Dubu has finally taken reins of this game and has an opportunity to make it closer.
He has that opportunity, but right now he is left on the run, and one thing that he has been prioritizing is those dynamos, but he has 1 HP and a dream. There's the thruster in play and the reversal, using that quick turnaround with the use of the thruster. But does he trap and monopolize the thrusters? What we saw from Gilkey in the early half of this game, it looks like Bubu's not going to do the same.
Bubu, he did not expect the blue spawns, and Gilkey's going to take advantage and get the new set of thrust. And I just want to talk about that last gunfight a little bit while this action continues on, because it was a great play by both players. It shows you what it takes to be a pro, because Gilkey made a phenomenal play, right? Made Bubu one shot, then threw a couple nades, a chase nade that kept Bubu weak. But how does Bubu respond when his back's against the wall? He punches right through it, throws a couple grenades of his own, able to trap Gilkey down at car 1, and then takes the reach out to get the kill on Gilkey. And Bubu needs to clean this one up. It's Commando versus BR. Is the buff enough? Gilkey gets the kill. The damage from the Commando too much early on. You can see Gilkey really favoring that new Commando.
And the Commando paid off for Gilkey, lines up the final shot with the BR after the initial damage was put out by that weapon. And Gilkey again with the active camo. Now, I don't think there's any thrusters in play. I might have missed it on blue side. Instead, Gilkey's going to opt for some fresh dynamo grenades. And Bubu Dubu is here on the low P side. On P1, might be creeping up that ramp. But time is the enemy, I guess, for Gilkey, as his camo is starting to burn off.
Now, Bubu Dubu's tracking that camo right there. He's using it as bait, figuring that as soon as he saw it, the nades maybe do enough damage for Gilkey to neutralize the advantage. But because Bubu didn't get that kill right away, he finds himself on his back foot. He needs to execute on this kill. Is the blue gun enough? Sending it down range. Gilkey's gonna get up close and personal. That thrust is deadly up close. It's a trade out, but you'll take that if you're Gilkey, especially if you get the blue spawns right away, because you're going to be able to pick up that thrust. Once again, this 3-kill deficit could be back where you see Gilkey's going to track all the way to Fridge, but Bubu Dubu knows this. He knows he wants to come back to Fridge, but the timings don't quite work out. Bubu Dubu checks the middle of the map. You see how he got high right there to get an angle on Fridge? The extra time it took him to get high was when Gilkey went to go get that thruster. And now Bubu, if I'm Bubu, I'm getting out of here. I'm trying to get that yellow thruster, but he's taking too much damage, and Gilkey's on the hunt. He's not going to let him get away.
And now Gilkey's going to check the thrusters right away. There's Bubu Dubu on the rotation, picks them up. Gilkey also has 2 thrusters to work with. As well as the high ground. He's going to try to dodge that grenade. The thruster play to line up the headshot, and Gilkey is just being masterful with the thruster commando combination.
Aggressive plays from Gilkey too, right? Because usually the rule of thumb is whoever uses that first thrust loses the gunfight. He decides, hey, I'm going to use the thrust before he even sees me, try to get the advantage on the first shot, does just enough to get Bubu weak enough to finish up that kill. And now Bubu has to play ultra aggressive to get into these kills, but the Commando's proving to be too strong, switching to the BR to finish those kills. But the damage output by this new and improved Commando rifle is proving to be too much for Bubu Dubu.
I mean, if you're watching this, Chad, you haven't been convinced that the Commando is worth picking up. Gilkey is showing you that this piece of equipment is not what we knew from the original launch of the game. The Commando can be deadly in the right hands, and Gilkey's hands are the right ones with the use of that Commando. There's the early damage. He has a few shots left, and he's going to stick with the Commando, clean it up, had 1 bullet remaining, and it gets that killing spree.
Yeah, the Commando is just too much for Bubu Dubu to handle at this point. It's putting down absolute tank bullets into the side of Bubu Dubu, and by the time he's able to challenge, a thrust is just proving to be the backbreaker. Bubu able to get the kill, but with 50 seconds left and it's 5 kills, no, 6 kills. Wow, needed. It's gonna be too much for Bubu Dubu to overcome.
Yeah, there's just not enough time for the comeback, but I'd love to see that Bubu Dubu is still out there fighting for it. And once again, Gilkey with the commando. It's a tale as old as time at this point. Just 1 kill away from taking the win, or that 30 seconds left on the clock.
And the commando buff, really, it's a buff for all players, right? But it's a buff for specific players. Players like Bubu Dubu, I mean, like Gilkey, are going to be the ones that benefit the most. These people with these precision aims. You know, if you can find the players that have those great stalker rifle shots, they're going to be the ones that are going to improve tenfold with the commando, just because of how you have to be precisely accurate, but it's just doing more damage, is a little bit more forgiving, and Gilkey's taking full advantage of it. He's going to win this game 14-9, and Gilkey just showing the power of the commando rifle thrust combination on this map.
I loved your breakdown there at the beginning stages of the game, where we saw Gilkey just monopolizing the thrusters, rotating back and forth from blue side to yellow side, back and forth, mostly using the commando for the damage in the meantime, but just controlling that Aquarius in the 1v1. I like how Aquarius plays in a 1v1 situation. I've seen a few 1v1s here before, but the way that it works with the equipment in hand, it makes for some really interesting and creative gameplay, and I think that Gilkey was definitely the star of the show here today.
Gilkey played phenomenal through both games. Bubu Dubu just had too much to overcome, going down early, those gunfights costing dearly. And you can see Gilkey had a definite game plan when he came into that map, right? Control the commando, control the thrust. Cam was a bit of a secondary option for them. It's nice when you get it, but he wasn't freaking out too much when he didn't. And Gilkey was able to use that advantage masterfully. And when you combine it with the nades that he played with, I think Gilkey played that about as well as you can against a top player.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, maybe we should reiterate, because I know there's a lot of people in the chat that are also competitors, whether you're waiting for your next match or if your run for today's qualifier is over, maybe taking some notes from these high-level players on what they did right. And it was a pretty simple yet effective strategy coming out from Gilkey to take down, you know, a pro player like Bubu Dubu. Is not an easy task. So hopefully you're home taking notes and just fine-tuning your own game. And, you know, who knows? Maybe someone will turn up next weekend and will show us plays that Gilkey is demonstrating today.
Well, that does it for our first semifinals. Coming up next, we have Neighbor and Morley gonna be going at it at their own best of 3 to determine who Gilkey has to play in the winners final. As we get that lobby set up, let's go take a couple words from our sponsor today, Honda, for our Honda fan club. $20,000 on the line. We'll be right back.